How's it going? It's Matt here. I'm the CEO of Warrp and Racer Club and founder of ToastPunk. Now, I want to bring you through a topic today, and I want to bring this up and have a discussion on this, just an open live coverage over it. And you're more than welcome to put your comments down below. But this has not been spoken much about in the space since it came out in August this year. So it's not all news. It's new since August. But I think it's quite important because this would, I guess, give us the concepts or the ideas surrounding this vague IP usage rights of NFTs and how, as holders or even projects, what they can do with it and how they can attach utility to it, right? So, I mean, we've seen Moonbirds, Kevin Rose, the founder, turn Moonbirds into CC0 overnight without informing the community, and that made a bit of a kerfuffle. Everyone thought it was just a stunt by the project, but I think there's something behind there as well, which I found. But yeah, what I wanted to do today was bring you through what my findings were. How are we doing things to encourage the usage rights properly? So instead of, we're only going to run a space, but instead of running a space where, we can't see any visuals, I wanted to give some visuals on what I found here. And therefore you can then address them accordingly as well. Do your own research, obviously. And obviously whatever I say here is not financial advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a financial specialist. All I am is a founder of a project in the Web3 space. And what I aim personally is try to innovate in the space and to use this technology for the effectiveness of the future, right? So yeah, let me just get straight into it right now. As you can see on the page, I'm on the it's a news article site called NFT Now, which shows the CC0 party growing. Now, Google came up with something called Can't Be Evil, and a16z retaliate with these license drops, and it's quite smart actually. And I want to bring you through it. So they've divided the portions of these IP usage rights of NFTs into, I think it was 6 or 5 types, and it then goes through what exactly do they mean, what do each of them mean, all the way from CC0 to all the non-CC0, close to CC0 kind of attributes, but they all play different roles. And the cool thing about it is the way they've done it. A16z is they have allowed for founders to actually embed this in their smart contract, so it forms this kind of decentralized way of understanding what the IP rights usage of the project is. Now, we've got a few projects. We've got a couple of ToastPunk projects that sold out, and we just acquired Irish Oracle this year as well. So far, we as a project as well have not really defined what the use cases are for those, or the IP use cases for those NFTs are. And most of the time, because it is a Web3 and because the functionality is meant to be dispersed out, as in everyone can do what they want with it, it's kind of like understood. You can use your NFT that you bought, that you own, the artwork in particular, to do what you want with it, right? However, once again, when a lot of money is involved, so a16z being one of the biggest investors in the space, they're worried obviously about their bags to ensure that whatever they've invested in has proper rights, whether it's channeling the rights back towards themselves or creators or the space. I think they just wanted this to be defined so that everyone's got clarity there. So I'm going to take you through it. Okay, this particular article doesn't really go through much, but let's find another one. There's plenty of them out there. Well, this one here is by a16z itself. That's how it all started. The public domain day, January 1st each year. Like this, just so you know the history of public domain. For example, Mickey Mouse, I think in 2024, they're going public domain, as in anyone can all of a sudden use this Mickey Mouse character to create merchandise, to create other movies, other films, and commercialize from it. Per my understanding, when it goes to the public domain, and nothing needs to go back to Disney. in that sense. So that's the huge difference with CC0 and public domain licensing of the benefits of what you can do with an artwork, right? Now, in A16Z, in this particular article that they released themselves, they went through some examples of derivative works and other forms of work that were produced from NFT collections itself. This one here is a right-click save as guy by Xcopy, and then you've got derivative works created by other NFT creators, which they are making money from, and their holders are benefiting from as well. So, it's not necessarily like when you go CC0, the opportunities for growth on it is exponential, depending on how big that community is. But yeah, the attributions back towards the original creator is not applicable at all. So let's look at other things here, what they've written out. The seas of memes. This one is a cool one. So physical usage of the NFT itself in merchandising or in other types of NFT projects as well. Once you go CC0, that's allowed. So I think the concept of it is that like let's breathe life into what this is, whether it's via NFTs or whether it's through in real life items. That's what the intentions are of CC0 projects. So, thinking back about what Moonbirds wanted to do, yes, I remember there was one guy that had a rare, the very first one-on-one rare Moonbirds, and he was scoring like a 6-figure deal, licensing deal to do it with, I think, a music artist or a restaurant or something like that. But as soon as Kevin Rose announced CC0 for Moonbirds, he lost that contract. And he actually was not that bad on it. Like, he was not, upset or anything. All he did was he got an understanding of what it meant for the project and the long-term visions of what Moonbirds wanted to do, and it worked really well for them there. So sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. It really depends on what the objectives are ultimately for the project or the use case. This one here is a really cool one, and this one here relates very closely to what the concept of Racer Club is and what we are intending to do with all these various use cases of projects out there currently, the 2,500 intended Racer Clubs. So this one here, a game concept from Hyperloot. Hyperloot, it's a project derivative. It shows multiple CC0 projects. So you've got Cryptodes, I'm not so sure. You got Nouns here as well, and a few others which have declared themselves CC0, and they've put them as characters in their game. Okay, so once again, this shows you've got really cool utility given to projects that are CC0. But how about the projects that are not classified CC0, or you don't have an identity class to them there? What happens then? Do the holders actually have rights on it, right? I'm going to try to find this particular table that A16Z came up with. So let me just do a search on it. A16Z CC0 licenses, A16Z licenses, and let's see whether or not we can find something. Yep, let's go to this one here, Blockworks. Okay, so here's another article by Blockworks that shows, that was talking about this matter when it came up. And once again, I just don't know how we as a space missed it, or I might have missed it. If you have seen it before, great. Comment below and just tell us what you know about it, if you found anything else. But through my digging right now only is when I'm finding it out. That's why I want to bring this out to everyone else to understand. So, yeah, this is the table I was talking about. So they've divided the licenses, or this is what, according to A16Z, their classification of them are. You've got exclusive commercial rights, then you've got non-exclusive commercial rights. Once again, you've got non-exclusive commercial rights, but then their creator retains the exploitation rights and termination for hate speech. So I think that could possibly relate back to the RRBAYC, the Rider Rips episode that came along. If you guys remember, Yuga had an issue with RRBAYC, Rider Rips, and he went on and just copied the whole collection and released it on OpenSea, and they were going for crazy money. I think a lot of people lost money on that there because it obviously dumped at the end after the lawsuit, or after the whatever they and Yuga were going through, and it got taken down from OpenSea and everything else. But I think that has something to do maybe with that there. So it's called CBENECHS. Let me try to make this a little bit bigger so that we can see. I'll zoom in. Okay, hopefully we can see. Yep, okay, there we go. Great. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in total types of differences. And the main one is CC0 down below. The CC0 1.0 universal, been around for ages, been around since Young's to understand, and it's involved with copyrights and trademarks and all of that. So that's to clearly understand what happens there with objects that end up in the public domain. So you can copy. These are the things that they classify under the traits under them. So you can copy, display, and distribute depending on the license, hate speech revocation, commercial use, modify and adapt, and the final thing is sub-license. Okay. Now, if you look at this here, CC0 1.0 universal, if it's standard in the public domain, anyone can copy, anyone can display, and anyone can distribute those artworks there. Okay, it's no problem. And sometimes not just artworks; it could be quotes, it could be text, it could be any form of a thing that once the copyright licensing of that finishes or completes itself, then it goes to the public domain. Anyone else can sort of do anything they want with it there and commercialize it as well. So sorry, here's another one: commercial use. So commercializing meaning use that in an item and sell it and make some money off it. So that's possible as well under CC0. And then you've got modify and adapt. So if you want to create generative use cases for that particular artwork or quote or piece or whatever, you can do that as well. And then finally sub-license. So basically you can now have this kind of method of you taking that artwork, giving it to someone and say, hey, you can do it for a certain period of time, or you can you can use it for X amount of time, or you can like Marin Afel did a really cool one on his crypto roundtable space where he owns a CryptoPunk and he himself said, hey guys, for this particular period I want you to go out there and use my CryptoPunk in your in your Twitter, in your profile. And everyone started to use that. Everyone's excited because you can see all these Marin Afels running around everywhere, even though he's the original true owner. So that was a really cool use of a case of a sub-license or a thing to say, hey, go ahead, you can use this for this particular period of time. Now, how does this relate back to Racer Club? So for those of you that have been following the Warrp journey and the ToastPunk journey all the way through, we are producing this race and end game platform for the Ethereum space. So it's targeted mainly at projects that currently have difficulty and can't in fact produce any utility out from it, which we really dislike because we want real use cases for these NFTs, and we think that this is the way that we're going to progress to move forward as a space. So we came up with this game called Racer Club. It's for 2,500 NFT projects. We are allowing them to use, or holders, so it doesn't necessarily have to be founders, it could be just whales or OGs of that particular project, to use their NFTs, and we have it set right now. The rulings are 10 per Racer Club, so 10 NFTs per collection will be imprinted into their Racer Club and will form this first 10 base characters. So similarly how Mario Kart has Mario, Luigi, Donkey, Yoshi, etc., all these characters, in each and every Racer Club of that project, they would have those 10 base characters as the heroes of their Racer Club. So that's the whole point. What we want to make it as well is, the ones that are early adopters, the ones that know what's going on, Racer Club has followed all the way through. Doesn't matter what NFT projects you are. If you found out about it, you want to be part of the first trend, you imprint your first 10 on there. And therefore, you're assigning your license use case of your NFT artwork to Racer Club to say, hey, go create these generative 3D racer characters for them so that all my other community members can use them. So when you join your own Racer Club as a player, you can go in, use your NFT, attach it to a current existing character, one of those 10 characters there. It may not look exactly like your NFT, but it resembles your NFT collection, okay, to start with, and use that to race, okay? Now, once you're done with that there, once you are, once we have completed, actually our goal is to complete 800 minimum racer clubs out of the 2,500 first, hold them by hand, bring them onboard them within 3 to 4 weeks because of our assembly production line on how we do things. So we've done it for like tracks and environments and characters and races, and output a AAA Unreal Engine downloadable esports land-based game that anyone can play as well on the web or land. In 3 to 4 weeks. That's unheard of. But that's what we aim to do, and that's our mission impossible that we've assigned to ourselves, which we know we can repeat over and over again once we got that first 800. So once we got the first 800 and got those 10 characters in, that's how we do it. We get started. Each one after that, if they want to customize their character, they can go. So after the 800, we'll launch something called the Asset Creators Marketplace. That's where everyone can go in to modify their characters and to make it their own, so they can have their own personalized character in there. There will be a small fee for that, but not much. There might be some artists out there that already might have rendered something for you. There might be an artist that have rendered the 3D traits for an entire collection, so it's nice and easy for everyone to choose their own. There's so many things that could happen in this whole ecosystem of Racer Club, which we intend to build to bridge this gap between current P2E unsustainability and problems with player retention all the way to esports, where esports will accept it and say, hey, you know what, I get it. You guys got a proper race game right now. It's all formed in clubs already, so we've got a nice league format already ready to go. And all it takes is just for big sponsors and also the economies of each club to evolve into what it needs to be. Like we've assessed this based on a very, very small economy per club. So in fact, if say 10 players spend, 50 players spend $100, okay, which is not much, okay, $50, so it's $5,000 a day per club. We have the biggest P2E ecosystem of racing anywhere in the space right now. And by having that power of people and the power of the community, we then can evolve into further other things. That's where we'll get audience. And that's the main reason why we divided our game into 3 user categories. One is the manager. So those that not really want to play or might be playing, either way, it doesn't really matter, but they manage each and every racer club. Then you got players who actually play the game and be good at racing and they deep dive into what they love to do there. And then you got fans. Fans is quite important as well. The fans are the ones that support the players and support the clubs all the way through. And they get, there's competitions, regular competitions run for the fans. Hashtag competitions on social that will happen. That gives them benefits for basically watching their favorite races. And that's how you grow a cultured ecosystem upwards and towards esports. That's our aim anyway. Sorry, I digress on the topic, and sorry I went into Racer Club a little bit too much on this particular generic topic of CC0, but that's where I wanted to get in at. That what we are building, in fact, is quite crucial and quite important towards the space, because it uses things like this. It uses the benefits of use case of NFTs to innovate, to move forward. Now, we speak to plenty of projects on a day-by-day basis, and yes, plenty of them have great ideas, use cases from Web 2 bringing into Web 3 for NFTs. Some of them might not necessarily need NFTs or crypto to involve their projects or get their projects well. They just want to try to ride on that particular technology hype right now. One key thing everyone's got to understand from a developer standpoint: people think that that coming into the crypto space or NFT space and creating smart contracts, tokens, NFTs is cheap and easy. I will tell you something right now. It is at least 2 or 3 times the cost to do it normally. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people don't consider this in their projects. There is auditing, specialist auditing. Now, if you want to make sure that your project is long-term, that it's going to last past the hype, okay? It's going to go 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You got to think forward. Okay, you got to think forward. Like in a normal software right now, when you build, and we've built plenty of softwares at Warrp. When you build a normal software, if there's a problem, you change that software, you modify that software, you give it a version 1.2 to 1.3, 1.4, etc., 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 and you move on. Unfortunately, in the blockchain, a lot of that layered mechanisms has to be set in stone from the start. There's patches you can add, but once again, patches and all these other things that you put after the fact cause other issues within the main purpose of it, right? So people got to think from a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan on what this basis model is. Now, that's where I think, I've been a massive advocate for Web3, obviously, but I've also been a proponent towards P2Es right now to say that, hey, it's cool, but the P2E games right now, tokenomics is so wide, so large, it's all dependent on the tokens from the market exchanges, also from the liquidity from the exchanges, that the players' actual utility there is not enough to sustain this long-term capacity of it, right? And that imbalance. And that's why a lot of them are running. And that's why I think, I still believe that none of the metaverses today, and I'm not going to name particular names, but you guys know it starts with S, starts with O, starts with D, W, all of them there. Good on them. Like, they did really, really great land sales. They raised millions and millions of dollars. But realistically speaking, no one is building on these parcels of lands, of virtual lands. Why? Because it's quite simple, okay? This is how humans operate. It's simple. If you're a corporation, if you're a private corporation, builder, okay, in the real world today, if you're looking at land to buy, you buy a piece of land, you do your mechanics on your return on investment. If you can rent it out, you can sell it, you can put apartment blocks on it, you can do whatever, you can make money, great, go ahead and do the project, okay? But it requires one key thing, population. Now, for governments go out there and just build properties wherever they want to. Doesn't really matter to them because they've got their own agenda, okay? Whatever is to run their local councils or run their offices, it's fine. Once again, you still need a population there. The problem with metaverses today is there is limited or no population existing in those metaverses. And the other thing that adds a complex nature to it, they're all anon, as in you don't know who they are. So how do you collect this data and understand who's going to buy, who's not going to buy, who's going to be, staying here tomorrow, who's not going to be staying here tomorrow? You just don't know. And it's all built currently, I think, on hype, where, a project, a metaverse project can say, hey, I've got Snoop Dogg coming in. Everyone, let's go listen to him. Let's come in. And then you have all these people coming in and they use that particular numbers to show their high extremes, their ATHs. I think that is misconceptualizing what it is to the market, okay? So that's why, I'm always going back to the basics of how do we bridge this gap? And I'm so sick and tired of everyone saying we're too early, metaverse is going to happen in 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, whatever. Meta has been building this crazy thing at the back, and everyone's making fun of them, going, oh, what's this ugly Horizon Worlds? But they copped, 50,000, 100,000 daily users just recently, more than any other metaverse out there, right? So I think what it needs is either two things. One is an invention, so an innovative invention that will change the spectrum of things, okay? Or big money. Big money, meaning the dangling of the carrot for population, corporations, governments, whatever it is, to come in and say, hey, come and hang out in my metaverse, okay? And big corporations like Metaverse have this sort of thing here. Not necessarily might have this other thing, which is the innovation and the idealistic, visionary kind of point of view. Hopefully, we do have that in Racer Club. And I've seen a few other projects out there that are aiming to do the similar things as well. Now, as a startup and a Racer Club, yes, we got some funding, but we need more funding. We always need more funding to ensure that we move forward, right? Progress forward in this space. That's why we partake in, different pitch contests and pitch challenges and discussions daily with VCs, all sorts of things to encourage them to say, hey, look at this flip side. Stop going into the norm of what it is out there with metaverses and stop putting money in hype, like it's so easy to lose money in hype. It's there. It's like written for you already. You put your money in, you hype up. If you get out, good on you. If you don't get out, if you've got a vested issue with the project, you're gonna stay in and it's gonna go down. And the recovery is gonna be now a distress mode. Oh, how do we increase value? How do we increase players? How do we increase users? You're gonna go into that mode, and that's a stress mode that a lot of VCs don't want to go to, investors don't want to go to because it's hard. It's hard to come out from that day. You got people's money in there, right? So from our perspective, we are trading it very, very carefully. And that's why we're going through things like this, the CC0 stuff, from legalities all the way through contract vulnerability. That will probably be my next thing I'll talk about in another separate video about contract vulnerabilities, because that's important. Once again, we saw, I think a few days ago, it skipped past me right now what the name was, but they got hacked, I think $10 million as well, and there was an issue there. They tried to come back. Sorry, they actually recently announced coming back, but they got hacked like 2 months ago. Once again, it's hard, okay? Once you expose your vulnerabilities, you expose your vulnerabilities. And I'm not saying that we are going to be super perfect. We're going to do everything we can to try to block all these holes and to make sure that, economies are protected, okay? That's why we have 2,500 different clubs. They're all individual economies. They all have individual contract wallets that host their economy funds. So it's like attacking 2,500 at one time. It's going to be a bit more harder, right? However, in saying that, anything's possible, so we always have to double check vulnerabilities, and that's why we have engaged Certic, the highest level auditor. But on top of Certic, you've got a few other layers of other validations and audits that we're going to go through as well. Anyway, back to CC0. Sorry, I just digress too much on Racer Club all the time. But as you can see, I'm just really, really excited about what we're building and how we can propel this space moving forward in the future. And one of the key things is this, and the idea of CC0 is this, and the idea of all these licensing rights by a16z is this. They want to make sure that this Web3 space moves forward in a way where mainstream is not going to say it's a scam, it's a right-click save as item, there's no proper use case of it right now, which a lot of them are, from the outside, if you look at it, right? How many rugs have gone through the NFT space right now? I mean, you got the high-end people all the way through. I'm not going to call out names, but people know, a project recently on Solana that was really, really high, minted high price, volume trades massive. The art is not revealed yet. Like, come on, man. Like, this is something you need to do at the very beginning, I think, if you're going to launch a project, right? Obviously, they weren't ready. But they've collected heaps, and then they did a little spin-off on, we're going to turn into 0% royalties, which then forced the marketplace to come into action as well, to say, hey, let's give optional, if you look from the outside, as someone who's not in the space, you would go, what an outright scam. What an outright rug pull, okay? And I don't blame them. I really do not blame them. So this is why things like this, what a16z is doing, I think is important. And I think we should be concentrating on to look at, especially the founders and also the guys that are investing heavily in this as well, from a collection point of view, right? Don't get caught up in all these nonsense pumps and hype trains and drop trains. I mean, evidently, you have definitely lost some bags on it. You can tell it yourself. Why keep doing it again and again? I know there's a temptation there, and it's like we need to make money. But I think let's take a step back. Let's take a breather. It's the bear market right now. Nothing is going anywhere. It's just we got to take a chill pill and put our heads together as one to try to drive this space forward. And I think that, as I said earlier on, it can be done with innovation and it can be done with money. Okay. Money from capital, VCs. If you are listening to this, I hope you do listen to this. Please pay serious attention to those that are actually, committing to the space, committing to the future of the space, because these are the ones that you want. And I know you have that targets there, and you have your certain formulas of identifying these people out there, which is fine. Okay, and it could be through connections. Like say for example, I'm not connected to Proof Collective, which is connected to a16z, which is connected to Moonbirds. So you go, oh, who's this punk? Who's this ToastPunk? Guys, listen to what I'm saying here. I'm telling you up front for myself that you got to consider even these smaller guys out there who are currently trying their best and putting it all in to try to make this space a better one. That's just my vulnerability moment for myself there, okay? Cool, guys. So I hope you understand today what's important about it. Now, I'm going to drop some links in the YouTube video about where you can find these articles, but it's as simple as what I just did earlier on. You just type in a16z CC0, not O, CC0. And even I think the other word you can type in as well is a16z can't be evil. So use the can't be evil licenses, and you'll be able to find it. I just want to say thanks a16z for putting this up, because this has made it much more clear of what we want to do as a project in Racer Club Labs, which means that now we can truly get all these 2,500 projects onboarded to race with their communities, to build their spectators and fans, and use the ERC20 tokens from NFTX to help them a little bit with their liquidity matters that all of them are going through, and provide proper use case for NFTs. That's important. And whether it's done now, for us, it's for us progressing forward. So either way, we're going to take it step by step. We'll release the first Racer Club for ToastPunk community. There'll be a 30-day early access. Alongside of that, we'll then release the sale of the 2,500 licenses. And I don't want to give too much info right now on how we're going to do it. But trust me, you have never seen anything like it before. I'm going to make it so cool from the very beginning. I've got my animation guys, I've got my script writing guys, I've got my okay, don't worry, it's going to be awesome. It's going to give you that experience like, what the hell am I looking at here? This is so cool. I want to be part of it. I'm going to tell my friends about it. That is our objective there. And hopefully I don't want to create hype that is not that is just temporary. I want to create motion and action and a movement in the space that will keep captivating people over and over again every time they come to the website and every time they come to the game servers. Sorry, I leaked a little bit, game servers. But yeah, I'm super excited about that there, guys. Hope you learned something today. Remember to check this out. And if you like this video, I'm going to do the typical YouTube thing. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you have a great one. And peace out. Be well. Have a great one wherever you are in the world. Take care. Bye.